The Gambler's Ruin Project. Special Polish Ekstraklasa League, round 25 episode. The Gambler's Ruin Project, powered by SmartBet.AI technology. The Gambler's Ruin Project, where the odds get cracked.
Welcome back to the Gambler's Ruin Project. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or just here for the stats and strategy, we've got you covered. I'm Anna, joined as always by my co-hosts Dominic and Kateryna.
That's right, Anna. Today we're breaking down two key matches, Pogoń Szczecin versus Cracovia Kraków and Stal Mielec versus Śląsk Wrocław. We'll dig into AI predictions, expected goals, and most importantly, how to bet smart.
And, as always, we're here to bring some data-driven insights. But remember, these predictions are just one piece of the puzzle. If you're placing bets, you should always consider multiple factors and bet responsibly.
A quick but important reminder. Our AI-driven predictions are here to inform and educate, not to guarantee outcomes. Sports betting should be approached with strategy and discipline.
Exactly. We'll talk about probabilities, expected goals, and AI model outputs, but no bet is ever a sure thing. Even the best data can't predict red cards, last-minute injuries, or referee decisions.
So, whether you're making picks based on our insights or doing your own research, stick to your budget, manage your bankroll wisely, and never chase losses. And if gambling ever stops being fun, there are resources available to help.
Alright, now that we've got that covered, let's get into the action. First up, Pogoń Szczecin versus Cracovia Kraków. Match date, March 14th, 2025 at 15:30 hours. Let's see what our AI models predict. Alright, let's get into our first match, Pogoń Szczecin versus Cracovia Kraków. Dominic, walk us through the numbers.
Absolutely. Let's start with the expected goals, XG. Pogoń Szczecin, 1.67. Cracovia Kraków, 1.06. That's a significant gap in expected goals, meaning Pogoń are more likely to create and convert chances. Cracovia, on the other hand, might struggle to break through.
That's reflected in the match outcome probabilities as well. Our Poisson model gives Pogoń a 50.88% chance to win, a 24.29% chance for a draw, and only a 24.01% chance for a Cracovia upset. Those are solid numbers in favour of the home side.
Looks pretty convincing, until you check out what our AI models think. Pogoń are the favourites here, but let's see what the data actually tells us.
What do we make of this, Kateryna?
Now this is interesting. 3 of our 5 AI models predict a Pogoń Szczecin win, but 2 of them, XGBoost and Neural Network, disagree and actually predict a loss.
XGBoost and Neural Network might be factoring in recent form, defensive vulnerabilities, or even historical head-to-head records that the other models weigh differently. This is where betting gets interesting. When AI models disagree like this, it often means there are underlying factors that make the match harder to predict.
Right. And that's why betting isn't just about blindly following AI.
So, do we still back Pogoń for the win, or do we play it safer?
Let's take a look at the weather and injuries before locking in our bets.
Great conditions for football. No wind, no rain, just a perfectly playable pitch. That means no weather-related excuses for either side.
Which is great news if you're betting based on tactical matchups rather than random weather impact.
Exactly. If there were heavy rain or strong winds, it could disrupt passing and favour a defensive, low-scoring game. But in these conditions, Pogoń can play their natural attacking game.
Now, on to injuries. So far, no major updates from either team, but we always recommend checking official sources close to match time. Last-minute injuries can completely change a match's dynamics.
Alright, so the weather is a green light and injuries aren't a concern yet. Let's talk betting strategy.
Alright, so the safest bet here is Pogoń Szczecin to win. They have the higher XG, favourable AI backing and home advantage. However, because 2 AI models still think they could lose, we have some backup bets.
Right, like under 2.5 goals. The expected goals are low, and if Cracovia struggle to create chances, we might see a tight defensive match.
And for those who like safety nets, the draw no bet, Pogoń Szczecin, is a great option. If they win, you get paid, and if it ends in a draw, you get your money back.
Now, before we move on, let's remind everyone about bankroll management. Never risk more than 2% of your bankroll on a single bet.
Exactly. Betting is about staying in the game long term, not chasing quick wins. If Pogoń wins, great. If not, your bankroll stays intact for the next bet.
Alright, that's match 1 covered. Up next, Stal Mielec versus Śląsk Wrocław. Let's see what the AI says about that one. Now on to our second match, Stal Mielec versus Śląsk Wrocław. Match date the 15th of March 2025 at 0945 hours. This one looks a lot closer on paper, so let's break it down. Dominic, what do the stats tell us?
Well, unlike our previous game, this one is a much tighter battle based on the numbers. Let's start with the expected goals. Not a huge gap in XG. Stal Mielec have a slight attacking advantage, but Śląsk Wrocław aren't far behind. This suggests a low-scoring, evenly matched contest.
Right. And that's reflected in our Poisson model probabilities as well. Look at how evenly spread these probabilities are. A 40.33% chance for Stal Mielec, 31.7% for an away win, and a 27.67% draw probability. There's no clear favourite here.
So we're not looking at a dominant performance from either team. What do our AI models think? 3 models predict a Stal Mielec win, but we've got one calling a draw and one predicting a loss. Not exactly a confident vote across the board.
Exactly. When you see this kind of mixed AI prediction, it tells you that the game is highly competitive and the margin between teams is razor thin.
And that's when you start thinking risk management. Instead of backing one outright winner, you might want to look at safer betting options that account for a tight game.
Alright, so before we decide on bets, let's check out the weather and injuries.
Perfect football conditions. A warm day with a slight breeze. Ideal for attacking play and no major disruptions expected.
So, this should be a fairly open match, at least in terms of weather. No rain, no wind to slow down play.
Right. And that means no excuse for defensive errors either. Both teams will be able to play their normal style without external factors interfering.
Now, on to injuries. So far, no major reports, but as always, check closer to match time for last-minute lineup changes.
Alright, we've got a balanced match, ideal playing conditions, and no injury red flags. Let's get to the betting strategy.
So, based on everything we've seen, our safest play is the double chance, Stal Mielec or draw. With such even probabilities, betting on either a Stal Mielec win or a draw covers you without overexposing risk.
Right. And if you like goal markets, I'd say both teams to score, BTTS yes, is another good option. The XG numbers are close, and both teams should be able to find the net.
But for those expecting a tight defensive game, we've also got under 2.5 goals as an option. The match has all the signs of a low-scoring contest, so this could be a smart play.
As always, small stakes and disciplined play are key. You don't want to go all in on a game that AI is telling us is very unpredictable.
Yep, stick to the 2% rule. And if you're betting on this match, be prepared for some variance.
Alright, that's match 2 wrapped up. Alright, now that we've broken down our 2 featured matches, let's step back and talk about something every bettor needs to understand. What to do when AI models don't agree.
Ah yes, the classic AI dilemma. We love our machine learning models, but sometimes they give us conflicting results. One says win, another says lose, and suddenly you're left wondering, who do I trust?
And the truth is, there's no perfect answer. But what you can do is learn how to interpret model disagreements and use that knowledge to bet smarter.
So let's break this down. What exactly does it mean when AI models don't agree on an outcome?
Alright, let's use Pogoń Szczecin versus Cracovia Kraków as an example. 3 models say win, 2 say lose. The big question, what do we do with this information?
Well, first we have to understand why models might disagree. AI models weigh different factors in different ways. Some prioritize recent form, others focus on long-term statistics, and some rely heavily on head-to-head history.
So, if one model is looking at Pogoń Szczecin's strong home record, while another is factoring in Cracovia's recent defensive improvements, they could naturally come to opposing conclusions.
Exactly. And that's why blindly following one model can be risky. You need to cross-check their reasoning with other key stats, like expected goals, XG.
Okay, so let's talk about XG versus Poisson models. These two methods both predict match outcomes, but they work very differently.
Right. Expected goals, XG, measures the quality of chances a team creates, rather than just raw statistics like shots on target. It tells us how many goals a team should have scored based on the quality of their attempts.
On the other hand, the Poisson model is purely probability-based. It calculates the likelihood of different scorelines using historical goal data.
So if we see a team with a high XG but low Poisson probability, what does that tell us? 2, their past goal-scoring record isn't strong, so the Poisson model isn't giving them much credit.
Great question. It could mean two things. 1, they're creating great chances but not finishing them. Bad luck, bad strikers, or great opposing goalkeepers.
And that's a huge insight for betting. If a team's XG is high, but they haven't been scoring, we might expect regression to the mean, meaning they're due for a breakout performance.
On the flip side, if a team has scored a lot but with low XG, that suggests they've been overperforming, which means a downturn could be coming.
And that's where we can hedge our bets instead of going all in.
Alright, let's say AI models are split on whether a team will win or lose. Instead of betting on a win outright, what's a smarter approach?
You hedge with a double chance, win or draw bet. That way, if the team wins or ties, you still cash out. It reduces risk but keeps you in the game.
Same idea with low XG teams that have high Poisson probabilities. Instead of betting on them to win, maybe take under 2.5 goals since they struggle to score.
And if a team has high XG but isn't winning, it might be better to bet on both teams to score, BTTS, yes, instead of backing them outright.
Or in a really tight game, consider draw no bet. If the match ends in a draw, you get your stake refunded.
So, the lesson here is that when AI models disagree, instead of forcing a risky bet, use alternative betting markets to reduce your exposure.
Exactly, betting is not about picking winners, it's about managing risk and playing the odds smartly.
And that's how you turn AI model disagreements into an advantage instead of a frustration.
That's a wrap for this special Polish Ekstraklasa League round 25. See you next week for more AI-driven insights powered by SmartBet.AI.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Gambler's Ruin Project. Remember, our content is for informational purposes only, and all predictions are AI generated. Gambling can be addictive, so please bet responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help with gambling addiction, here are resources that can provide support. North America. Contact the National Problem. Gambling Helpline at 1-800-522-4700, available 24/7 for confidential help. UK. Reach out to BeGambleAware at 080-880-20133 or visit begambleaware.org for information and support. Bet smart, bet safe, and as always, remember to keep things fun and balanced. We'll see you next week for more insights. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more AI-driven insights and pro betting tips each week. See you next time. The Gambler's Ruin Project. Special Polish Ekstraklasa League, round 25 episode. The Gambler's Ruin Project, powered by SmartBet.AI technology.